Now, the US economy shrank by 0.3% in the first quarter of this year, the first drop for 3 years. Economists say GDP fell because of a surge in imports as companies rushed to bring in foreign goods before Donald Trump imposes his tariffs. Meanwhile, the president has blamed his predecessor, Joe Biden, for the downturn.
When you look at the stock market in this case, it says how bad a situation we inherited. This is a quarter that we looked at today, and we took all of us together. We came in on January 20th. So this is Biden, and you could even say the next quarter is sort of Biden because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis. But we're turning it around. It's a big ship to turn around, and we're going to have the greatest country financially in the history of the world, I believe. I think we're going to do things and we had to do it. We reset the table. We were being ripped off by every single country without exception. I'd have to really think hard for who hasn't taken advantage. And I don't even blame those countries. I blame the person that was sitting right here where I am.
All right, well, let's take a look at this with Abigail Hall. She's an associate professor in economics at the University of Tampa in the United States. Welcome to DW. Can we start with some finger pointing? President Trump there blaming President Biden for this economic contraction. Who do you blame?
So I think here, one of the president's former quotes might actually be particularly helpful. So Trump at one point in his first presidency said that the stock market is a great barometer for how it is that political actors are performing. And the last time that I checked, he's the one who is currently the head of the ship. It's his trade policies that are being implemented, his immigration policies that are being implemented. And so I think that a lot of this we can put squarely on the shoulders of our president.
And this is because of what? Uncertainty and tariffs?
So I think that there are a few different things going on right now. Certainly the tariffs play a significant role. So both the tariffs themselves, the retaliatory tariffs, which have been put in place on the United States as a direct result, but also, as you mentioned, the great uncertainty surrounding tariffs is presenting a real challenge, not only for businesses and policymakers, but also it's providing a real challenge for economists because it's happening so quickly. A lot of the tools and measurements that we tend to use to try to look at how the economy is doing may not be keeping up with the pace of policy changes.
Okay. I'm sad you said that because my next question is, what happens in the next quarter? What do you think will happen over the next 3 months? Do you see this continuing or do you see a bounce for the president?
It's a really interesting question. And one of the things that is really tricky right now is that economists are not optimistic about the tariffs at all. In fact, economists roundly agree that the tariff policies which have been announced and the uncertainty surrounding them is economically detrimental. There is frankly very little debate about whether or not that is the case. In terms of what this means long-term economically, we're really seeing some interesting split opinions as far as forecasts go. So what this looks like in Q2, Q3, or Q4, it's really uncertain. Certainly, if the tariff policies are acted or they continue to be implemented, then I would anticipate or would not be surprised at all if you continue to see potentially significant economic contractions. On the other hand, one of the things that we are seeing is that the markets are responding when the presidential administration have announced pauses or relaxations in these tariff policies, which may suggest that there is still some room to right the ship or turn things around.
Right. Give us an idea of what consumers are doing, what people are thinking. This is an economy that's driven by consumer spending. So how are American consumers coping with the current economic challenges?
So there are certain things that people may or may not be doing at this point. One of the things that we've witnessed, and the president has even mentioned this specifically, is that people are and companies are stockpiling resources prior to these tariffs taking or us realizing the full effects of these tariffs. It would not surprise me at all to see consumers switching the types of products that they buy or even when they buy them. So it wouldn't surprise me if people go out and try to buy foreign goods while they think they can still get them at a relatively cheap price. But overall, this is going to hurt your average American consumers who are going to pay more from everything from the food that they put on the table to feed their families to things like their appliances and their cars.
That's very clear. Thank you for talking us through that. Abigail Hall from the University of Tampa. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.